I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Estate Sale AJ. We're coming at you with Season 7, Episode 14. Schnaft got the shaft. This little German orphan is having the hell of a time. So fucking lock in, find us on Instagram and Patreon, and pointsopressure.com.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
He's the little orphan that could.
Yeah.
Unlike D, who could not do that intro.
No, we talked way too much before we fucking started this. I was just so turned around when I fucking looked at that line. I was like, the what?
The huh?
Yeah.
No,
the little German orphan that could.
When you get us together, we start talking about the drama from the in-laws and... Oh my God, we're keeping that in.
That was my bad.
I forgot we had that.
Good timing.
The drama from the in-laws and people who we think will die soon.
Yeah.
Inheritance, wills. Not ours. We don't have anything worth it.
But yeah.
And then hiking.
Yeah. Yup.
Last a little bit.
Be good.
Yeah. So how's your week been?
Pretty good, yeah. Nothing crazy.
Nothing to report.
Yeah. It's been fucking nice, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sun's been out.
The weather's
Guns
been so
have been
good.
out. Worked outside for a little bit this week. It was fucking nice.
Yeah, the mason beehive that we have back there is going crazy.
Oh, is that the little one that's like right here?
Yeah.
Like over
above
on
the pump.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Go check it out in the day because they
can
I saw
it the other day.
They don't
I was
sting.
walking around with the little dog and I
It's
saw it and I was
loud.
like, what the fuck? What is
They're
that?
like,
yeah.
bzzz, like it's so loud. You can hear them just going crazy.
We got to do a fire soon.
Yeah. I want to dig a new pit.
Yeah, we should do one of those ones where it's like the fucking cement block things, like stack it up, make a little like
like
fire
up off
pit.
the ground a little bit.
Yeah, just like a little
I know what
chimney,
you're talking about.
I guess.
I
I
know
don't
what
know.
you're talking
But yeah,
about.
we should put some shit up like that. Take the ones at the bottom so that it helps it have less smoke. One of those little smokeless pits.
Yeah, let's do it. Because
that would be nice.
we lost a huge limb on the tree back there over the winter.
Yeah.
Or fall, I guess. So there's now a new open spot, so we won't burn the other tree.
Yeah, right.
Got a little close a couple times.
I think if you went like 5 to 10 feet this way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah, pretty much where in front of those chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's perfect. We got the plans to do it. We can pick up some cinder blocks, when I get this nursing job.
Yeah, no rush.
Should hear this week. The next episode you hear, I may be a nurse.
Here's hoping, man.
I may be getting less sleep somehow.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. But yeah, nothing really new. It's just been a nice week.
Yeah.
Chill.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
You into
Hung out with my nephew.
sugar mill.
Hung out with some of my cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to an animal preserve, a nature preserve, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that was fun. That was beautiful. And then went to an abandoned sugar mill. I flew my drone inside it.
Oh yeah, in the pipe?
No, in the the
just
main part.
in the mill.
And it was nerve-wracking.
Oh, I'm sure. Have you seen people do those like
the FPV
drone racing?
drones? Yeah.
That shit's wild.
That shit is insane. To start, it's like, at least from this company, it's like $1,300.
Damn.
For the drone, the headset, all the shit, extra batteries.
Back in like 2017, 18, I thought it was sick as fuck, and I looked into it, and it was like $500 entry, but mind you, this is pre-pandemic when people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna get into weird shit."
Yeah.
So I'm sure and plus it's been 7 fucking years since then.
Yeah.
So the drones are crazy better.
They are crazy now.
That's wild. It's fucking cool.
Oh, do you remember when we went? We found that axe in that back room, and then there were those doors that were cinder blocked.
Uh-huh.
I figured, oh, that other side, that's with the company that's currently there on the property.
But not. That's
they
close
were
too?
They were broken open.
Oh.
It's that entire warehouse behind it.
Like even the newer shit is abandoned.
It's not even. I thought it was newer. It's not newer. It was just fenced off. That was the portion of property that they had, but they never used it because inside was just. I mean, you could see on the left side of the building, the entire wall was collapsing out. It was like, oh, that's weird. And then we went in there, and it was those two doors were busted open, and it stunk so bad because there was like 2 inches of wheat kernels.
What the fuck?
On the ground in probably 120-foot long warehouse.
Damn.
Yeah, as wide as that building. And there was just wheat, animal shit.
Yeah.
Like rotten old wheat. I'm like, if I eat some of this, it's going to be like I took acid. It's that ergot or something. And it stunk. And yeah, it was weird. It was really weird.
Fucking dead little animals below it,
Probably,
too.
yeah.
They got stuck.
And just, I'm sure.
Damn, dude.
Oh, yeah, we got buzzed by like 4 hawks who were living in the tree next to it. Because what a great source of food if you like rotten wheat.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
if you
weird.
want fucking fat animals, that's the place to find them.
That's the way to do it. So it was,
cool.
It was weird. Every time we go, there's something new.
Yeah, something crazy. Place is a trip.
But yeah, it was good. It was nice. It's nice to get out every once in a while now that the weather's good. Helps me not go insane and kill everybody in this house in one dark night.
Hey, here's hoping one night.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess we're really here to talk about the man of the hour.
Yeah. All credit initially. I have to do this. I gotta give him credit.
You gotta.
Our patron D's Nuts. Appreciate you, homie, for sending this along to me. And I looked at it and saw German and was like, "Oh yeah, this isn't in my realm. Sorry, but I'm gonna pass it along to AJ." So yeah, thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. He messaged me and said some fucking idiot sent this to me.
Yeah,
and
like,
I guess they're
bitch.
stupid. Don't even listen.
Yeah,
because they don't even know that I never do the German episodes. So here you go, dipshit.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the cash, moron.
Yeah. So I read it and I was like, wow, this is like fresh info to a point. Like this case was only declassified a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Still
cool.
heavily redacted, but most of the information comes from a recently declassified file.
Okay, cool.
And an old Yiddish newspaper.
Take it away, man.
So, also, I both love and hate certain communities on Reddit who like to share stories from history or, just things that they come across. I love those. It's a great place to get entertainment, great place to find some episodes maybe, a good starting point. But I found one on this guy and the events in his life, and it was way more information than is considered legit, considered proven, that has resources. And then in the comments, someone said, what are your sources for this? Like, this is different from other things I've read on it. And the poster said, well, I talked to one of the people in this story. That's not a far stretch. But once you hear the story, you're going to understand why it is a very fucking far stretch that this guy knew anybody even involved with this story. So be careful when you read your stories. Understand that if you're reading for entertainment, that's okay. Just don't share it. Don't spread it. But if you're reading and you like to check those sources, I tell everybody the stories that I find, if they're legit. Sorry, that just pissed me off because I was done with my episode and I like doing... I'm completely done, and then I'll do a bunch of different searches on different websites and different things.
Post look up for fun facts.
Yeah, just to see if there's anything else to add on that I missed. Mm-hmm. And I came across that, and I was reading. I'm like, whoa, that's new. This
changes everything.
That's a completely different detail.
I gotta write notes for another hour.
New. Yeah. And then you scroll down the bottom, no sources. I was like, fuck, God, damn it.
Grandma told me this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus.
So we're going to talk about a little man by the name of Ulrich Schnaft.
Ulrich Schnaft.
It's a very German name. He was born in Königsberg in Germany in 1923.
Nice.
He was born to a single mom who
Worked too hard.
Worked too hard. And he was given up for adoption. And let me put this in
I'm just
perspective.
kidding. God.
Yeah, boo.
Should have just aborted him. Fuck.
Let me tell you about the year 1923 in Germany, because I'm kind of on that side. Hyperinflation. Bank rates were near 90% for interest.
Jesus.
The Hamburg Uprising happened in 1923, which was a communist plot where they attacked a bunch of police stations in an attempt to... It would eventually lead to a coup. Like, it was basically a half-baked plot.
Okay.
Their idea was, oh, well, we'll attack all these police stations, and then nobody will be there to protect these people, and we can do whatever we want.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it got put down, but still, that's scary. An entirely new separatist government in Germany formed, which was recognized by the French.
Oh, God.
French and Belgian troops actually occupied parts of Germany because Germany stopped paying reparations from World War I because they didn't have any money.
Yeah. Tapped out.
Oh, yeah, and a small event towards the end of the year happened. It's called the Beer Hall Push. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No big deal.
You know, just the first coup attempt of the Nazis. Gave them all their blood martyrs. Really, yeah. Sent Hitler to prison where he could perfect his craft of propaganda. So, great year.
Yeah.
I see why she was like, get this little shit away from me. There is too much shit going on to be a single mother
Jesus.
in 1923 Germany. And, this is still, 5 years after World War I? Like, that's fresh as
that
5-6
true.
years. So that memory is fresh.
Damn. I always forget that, like, the 20s were, like, immediately after.
Yeah. Everybody thinks, roaring 20s, it was this fun time, except for Prohibition.
Yeah.
But, man, for the rest of the world that wasn't the United States, the 20s were fucked. And also, for any poor area in the United States, the 20s
for
were
anyone that
fucked.
wasn't in a bustling city.
Yeah. So, yeah, not a great time to be a single mother.
For anyone that wasn't in a bustling city that's in a movie.
Yeah, in a movie, 100 that's been romanticized for 100 years.
Yeah. If you aren't the main characters of The Great Gatsby,
yeah, I was just gonna say, if you aren't Gatsby,
20s.
5 years or 2 years before the events of that book, then you're
dude.
fucked.
The Roaring 20s.
Yeah, it's crazy. So luckily, he actually gets adopted out of the system pretty young by a completely normal German family.
Okay.
Which is, normally I say that and then there's like something else.
Yeah.
No, it's completely normal. The Schnaft family, I assume.
Oh, well, now we know what was wrong with them.
Yeah. And
Fucking god-awful last name.
it's a pretty rough last name. So he goes to school. Things are okay for how shitty the economy was in Germany during this time period. He becomes a trained mechanical technician.
Nice.
He goes to vocational school. Things are pretty good for him.
I mean, it's a good thing to get into. You got something coming
especially
up.
at this time period. Well, it just so happens he graduated as a mechanical technician in 1941.
Oh, well, would you look at that?
So, yeah, maybe he didn't have a super normal, upbringing, because all that, he was, He was 1923, so 1933. He was 10 when the Nazis took power.
Yeah. Oof.
Kind of a good time to get completely ingrained, become a Hitler youth, become a Jojo Rabbit.
Boy.
So, he decides to do what any good German man would do to protect the Sudetenland, and he enlists in the army. He lies to the Nazis, and he joins the Waffen-SS.
What did he lie about? His age?
His age. He was technically 17.
My grandpa did that.
Yeah?
Yep.
Coward. Scumbag. We have rules for a reason.
And then he defected. No, I'm just kidding. No.
His name was Sergei.
No, he lied about his age so he could fly what was it, B-25Js and shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, shot down bridges in like Italy or something.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
the Air Force was active in Italy. They did some crazy shit. I saw some fantastic documentaries on the America, like, just bombing the shit out of Italy.
Jesus Christ.
And if you don't want a documentary, just watch the TV show Catch-22 with
I
George
still need- I
Clooney.
need to finish that.
It's worth it.
need to
It's
watch it,
rough.
yeah.
And
I watched
it gets
the first
harder.
episode a while back,
Oh, you gotta watch
but
it.
I got to keep going.
George Clooney is so good in that role.
Hell yeah.
Watch that, and then you get a, slightly goofy, not really. It starts off goofy
Yeah.
setup of how the American Air Force was just bombing the shit out of Italy.
Fuck.
It was really it's interesting.
Okay.
It's a good show, but he joins the Waffen SS, and you know the SS. Everybody knows the SS. I fucking hope. If this is your first time ever hearing about the SS, go to the History Channel
Fucking
5 years ago. Go watch a documentary on World War II. Like,
Yeah.
how do you not know about the SS?
get it together.
Yeah, specifically, the Waffen SS was the paramilitary wing of the Nazi Party itself. So, these were the people who were involved in the worst atrocities possible during the war. They reported directly to Himmler, who led the SS,
Ooh.
who reported directly to Hitler.
Yup.
So they were the Einsatzgruppen, who I've talked about in the past, the roaming death squads of Eastern Europe, were handpicked from the Waffen SS. The Warsaw Uprising and the atrocities that happened after it were perpetrated by the Waffen SS as a direct order from Hitler.
You got to be a crazy evil piece of shit.
You
to be in
really,
the
yeah.
SS.
Most camp guards, most concentration camp guards were Waffen SS. So these are the people that he joined. So he's probably a good guy.
Totally fine.
Unfortunately-
Totally
yeah.
average, normal. Orphan.
Totally average.
Standard
Actually,
orphan
yeah.
experience.
Any orphan in the U.S., at least. Anybody in the foster system, you got a 50-50 chance of becoming like this guy.
Oh, God.
Pretty
You heard it
much.
here first.
Yeah. That's an official statistic. Go check out the NIH. I don't know. So unfortunately for him, they say, yeah, you can be in the Waffen SS. Yeah, you're a devoted Nazi. We're going to send you to the Russian front because he was graduating and joining the army the same time they launched Operation Barbarossa, which was the operation to storm Russia,
Oh, God.
which is viewed as it was their first loss officially, and it was kind of the downturn in the war effort for them.
Oh, no.
So he gets sent to the Russian front, almost immediately gets wounded, like severely. And they send him to Yugoslavia, to a hospital, to recover. Now, he's starting to feel better, but it's kind of getting towards the end of the war. So they send him to Italy to stop the American advances, because the Italians are like, no, we don't want to work with the Nazis. We're going to kill and lynch our own leader and his wife and hang them from a billboard.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah.
Fuck yes.
Hell yeah. So they send him there, and he gets captured by American troops and sent to a POW camp.
Man, he's just fucking catching strays
Yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere. He is in a POW camp for
Deservedly so,
years.
though,
Oh,
I
yeah,
should
100%.
say.
He's still a Nazi. He is sent to a POW camp until 1947. So he spends almost 2 years there.
Damn.
And they try to get him on war crimes, but he's pretty much been in a hospital
Yeah.
or in a POW camp for most of it. So they can't hold him.
That's so shitty because it's like he's a fucking SS officer.
Yeah, right?
Like, come on.
He's in the Waffen SS. Like, seriously? So they let him go. And, I mean, I guess he did spend a good amount of time on the Russian front.
Yeah.
But,
To be fair, I guess.
well, it's not like when they were looking for war crimes, they were looking at the Russian front.
Yeah.
Even though we find out after, I've talked about them before, yeah, they should have been, because there were a ton of massacres and shit over there. But at the time, they didn't know about it. So he's released, And your ex-Waffen SS soldier who's escaped scrutiny, got away with it, so he moves back to Munich.
Oh, nice.
But post-war Germany...
Oh, not nice.
Not good. You're kind of fucked. Everything's fucked. The economy is fucked. There's no manufacturing. There's no economy.
Basically back to where it was when he was born.
Pretty much.
Straight
it's pretty
back to
close.
his roots, baby.
Back to his roots. So he finds a roommate, and he ends up being put with a young Jewish man.
Oh, God, dude.
Not good for a guy who hates Jewish people.
Yeah, for an ex-SS officer. However, I will say, maybe some growth could occur. Maybe he could learn some things. Learn to stop hating. We'll find out.
We'll find out. So,
after a word from our sponsor.
Yeah. Keeps.
Disney Plus.
Blue Chew. I would die for a Blue Chew sponsor. You know what that is?
What was the one? Tushy.
Yeah, Tushy.com.
Tush.com. No,
That's still so funny.
Oh, what was there was one, and I was like, honestly, I'd fuck with it, but I don't remember what it was. I'll have to figure it out.
Remember it? Text me.
And then we'll
I'll
see
put
if
in
we
an
can get
application.
sponsored.
I'll put in. I don't even care if we benefit from it. Honestly, I just think it would be funny for some of them.
Yeah.
So he is struggling to find work. He's got some mechanical shit knowledge.
Yeah.
So he can find a little bit of work, but shit's rough. He's not eating too good. And then he comes home.
Comes home looking like a Holocaust victim. He's so hungry.
And the actual Holocaust victim that he's living with is also working, super hard, trying to find jobs, trying to do anything he can to make any money.
Germany's
they
in a
get
bad
home.
state.
The only difference is his roommate gets home and eats, and he doesn't. And he's like, "Why is that?"
Oh.
So he starts talking this guy up because he hasn't revealed that he was in the SS.
Yeah.
To this guy.
To
this guy, he's just a German who's affected by the war.
Yeah.
Which, not great, probably still.
Do you think a lot of the, and I mean, you actually might know this. You're the perfect person to ask. Do you think, or do you know, if a lot of SS officers that weren't held accountable for war crimes, that are in his position, similar to him, that they just never revealed that they were in the SS? But
yes.
They were like, I'm not talking about this
There's
anymore.
a lot of people who got away with it.
Yeah.
There are a ton of people.
I know that there are a lot. I was just curious if like
ton of SS
a
soldiers.
lot of them were just like, I see why everyone fucking hates us for this,
Well,
and I'm not going to talk about it to anybody. Like,
some of them were like
I'm
that.
going
Some
to
of them
keep it under wraps to avoid.
A lot of them
problems in
went
life.
to Egypt. Actually, escaped the country and went to Egypt.
Oh, okay.
Because they were very anti-Jewish still.
Oh.
They gave a lot of positive support and benefits
So this is
to
the perfect,
SS
this
members.
is the perfect episode to ask about this.
Yeah. So depending on where they went, they could go to. A lot of people went to South America.
Oh, okay.
A lot of Nazis did. A lot of Nazis went to different places in the Middle East, like Egypt. Egypt was the major one that I know about. I think some of them went to Iraq.
I just wasn't sure if like after the war, some of them.
There were
if some / a lot of them like had that as like I was an SS officer. It's like
no, it was hidden.
Held in high regard. It was very.
It was behind closed doors.
Okay.
Well, they basically found out. I think it was in the 70s or the 80s. Somebody audited a lot of the German government, not like the high German government, but more local shit, and they found out that tons of the people in positions of power were ex-SS.
Okay.
And it caused a lot of this because they were pretending like their whole story was, no, I was a Wehrmacht soldier, I was just doing my job. A lot of people did that. It also happened in the U.S. to an extent. A lot of people were basically cleared of war crimes in the general sense, or just, as we talked about in like the episode Action 1005, they did everything they could to hide who was involved. So I'm sure thousands of people got away with shit.
Yeah.
Because a ton of people, came over to America and then started families and then didn't tell their new family, oh, yeah, I was, 3 steps away from Himmler. I was just No, I was just a regular soldier.
Okay. I wasn't sure if, in
it's pretty
Germany,
common.
the situation was the same and, like, the discourse around being an SS officer was the same. Obviously, like, now that I look back on it, I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, because you have a bunch of Jewish people getting out of these concentration camps and
so they're hiding
out of
it for
these
that.
prisons that are now working back into regular life. That makes sense.
Well, they're
Okay.
also hiding it to an extent because some of the non-SS people are blaming them for the whole situation.
Okay.
So some of that's happening as well.
Okay.
So it's not a good time to be an SS soldier. Was any time a good time to be an SS soldier? Maybe I've seen some of those like dining hall events.
When you were getting your uniform tailored, that
Oh
was
my
the
God. Hell
only
yeah.
time.
Or a fancy dinner party. If you were invited to a place called the Eagle's Nest in the Alps,
oh God,
I bet that place was beautiful though to go hang out.
that's pretty
You
cool.
know.
I've been.
Yeah, but like,
But
I mean,
when it was
during
bustling,
the time period,
oh, fucking,
like,
I'm
could you
sure,
imagine
dude.
how like fancy and just ridiculous?
It's fucking crazy.
So he starts talking to this guy and says, "Oh, I'm doing real rough. You're looking like you're maintaining your weight or something. I don't know. I assume he's like that." And his roommate reveals that he's getting aid packages from a group called the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee. They also go by JDC.
Okay.
And there are some other organizations active in Germany and around Europe at this time period who basically you go to if you're a Holocaust survivor
No.
and you say, "Hey, I'm a Holocaust survivor. Can I get some help?" And they'll send you some food. They'll send you some money.
Hey,
They'll
that's good.
There's some social programs where they'll help you find a place to live.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these people trying to reconnect with family that they've been separated with to try to find out what
Yeah.
happened.
Help
So
integrate these people back into society,
see
give
if-
them the resources so that they don't have to worry about
Yeah.
survival like they've had to the last fucking 15 years.
and then hook them up with survivors of their family if there are any.
I see. Okay, that's
as well.
cool.
So it's super cool. Lots of cool social programs, financial assistance, and stuff like that. And then just as a brief side note, the JDC was formed in 1914.
Oh,
And
okay.
their entire thing is we need to provide aid through social programs to Jewish communities. They do it still to this day. Over 70 countries they're involved in. But at the same time, they also just provide general disaster relief and development assistance to anyone who requests it and gets approved. Like, you don't have to be
yeah.
Jewish to get help from them. So that's
cool.
like their main goal.
So, like, is this strictly a German, like...
No, this is American.
Oh,
'cause
this
it's
is
the
an
American
American.
Jewish Joint.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So it's.
I wasn't
think
sure if it
it's-
was like a worldwide thing or if it was
It's
like,
worldwide now.
like the Red Cross.
It's
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
It's worldwide now. It's international for sure. Let's see, where was it? Yeah, and more their focus is less on. I mean, it's better if it's a Jewish community because that's what the whole point is. But anytime that there are children, elderly, displaced, or the disabled, they try to have those social programs and assistance programs. And so it's an interesting organization that I was looking into.
That's cool.
During the war, the JDC actually just chartered ships to go to Europe to pick up displaced Jews. They negotiated with different countries to increase their immigration limits to get people out of Europe.
Wow.
So this was a massive organization. Thousands of people were impacted, and then during the war, specifically when America entered the war, they had to operate secretly because they were at that time an American company. So it was
okay.
illegal for them to
Yeah.
operate to the enemies. So like in the
Yeah,
enemy countries. So they started to send money to the Polish underground.
Oh, sick.
They started to they financed a big portion of the Warsaw Uprising. They
Damn.
smuggled aid into labor camps and concentration camps, like supplies and stuff. And they specifically were like, well, someday this war is going to end. And at the end of war comes famine because manufacturing hasn't been keeping up.
Yeah, Jesus.
So they started to stockpile resources like food and stuff like that before
Really?
the war even ended to be able to distribute out to prevent famine.
What an amazing fucking foresight.
Yeah, the foresight is amazing from this company, or from this group, I guess. And yeah, thousands of rescues. They basically we talk a lot about, oh, this person was able to save this many people, what was it, the Lady Schindler or something? I don't remember the name of that episode. But we talk about a lot of different people who were able to smuggle and help a lot of people, a lot of immigrants get out, or displaced Jews to get out of Germany and like German-controlled areas. A lot of times, they received money or assistance to be able to do it from companies like this.
The JDC, okay.
So, because already people are rationing their food, and then now you have to ration for a second family. Like that was one of the major setbacks for people who wanted to help, was they just didn't have the resources to do it. And companies like this helped. In fact, I think there was something specific where they learned of a network of Jewish children or something like that. They estimated that there were 7,000 Jewish children hiding in Germany, like being hidden in Germany.
Okay.
And they financially, or that's how many people they were able to financially support secretly.
Wow.
In Germany was the people hiding these 7,000 kids.
Jesus.
I kind of said that roundabout. But yeah, that's kind of the scale of this group. So, also, with scale, especially before computers,
tracking
is really rough.
Verifying is a little hard.
Yeah, verifying is a little hard when 2/3 of the population of Jews in Europe have just been killed.
Yeah.
So records were a mess. And everyone was hungry. So Schnaft made up this story, made up this background.
Fucking dirtbag.
He posed as a Jewish Holocaust survivor, applied for aid with the JDC, and got it. He started getting food and money. The food was much more important than the money at this time period.
Fuck you, dude.
And either the JDC never thought that someone would be so shitty to make up this lie, or they were just so backed up with requests and verifications. That's impossible. Yeah, I don't know how, logistically you could handle that.
Well, I mean, because of what they've been doing and because of the stance they take, I honestly think that even if he went up and he was like, hey, I'm a known SS officer, but this economy is fucking me and I'm so clearly starving, I think that an organization like this would go, okay, we'll help.
I think if he said he was a German soldier, they would help. They were this
fair.
was during the Nuremberg trials.
Oh, okay.
So this is when everything is coming out and coming to light. Yeah. So if he just said, "Yeah, I was a German soldier, I was drafted," they'd be like, "Okay,
yeah,
we'll help you to a point."
For me, I still think that even then they'd just be like, "Well, we're not going to discriminate like you guys did." I think that would be their response, and they'd be like, "Yeah, fuck it, whatever."
They would at least hook him up with a different organization if they couldn't help. So Schnaft.
So I guess the crux of what I'm getting to is fuck him for going, "Oh, I was a Jewish victim of the Holocaust."
I was in a concentration camp.
Okay, fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's so different. That's so far to just a horrible thing. So he figured, well, things are better for me now. I'm getting food. I'm getting money. I don't have to work as hard. He's the real welfare queen.
Yeah, for real. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, so he figured
Fuck
Germany...
you, Schnaft.
Get Schnaft. So he was like, Germany's going to be shitty for a while. There's no way the economy is going to recover, within 5 to 10 years. This is ridiculous. And it's going to take 20, 30 years to do this because they're starting to divide up Germany, east and west, and there's all this shit happening. So he figures, I'm going to move. I don't blame a lot of these German people for moving out of Germany.
So this piece of shit,
yeah,
fucked. He was a fucking SS officer. He lies about being Jewish to get back on his feet, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, that Germany that I." That entire fucking country to. That I contributed to this problem, I'm leaving.
Yeah, 100%.
What
so
the
he
fuck?
comes
what
up.
A bitch.
He comes up with an identity, Gabriel Weissman.
Okay.
And he groups up with some of his connections that he's made, a group
to other Jewish people,
of displaced
other
Jewish people.
other concentration camp victims.
They are completely homeless. He groups up with them, and because their plan was to attempt something called Aliyah Bet.
Okay.
Aliyah Bet is the name of illegal immigration to a small known colony called Mandatory Palestine, which is a horrible name. It's a British colony called Mandatory Palestine, and they want to commit illegal immigration to break into it.
Okay.
You know, it's a British colony. Fuck them. But fuck colonies. So he groups up with them, and they've got to basically get close and then get in. And the fact that it had a name was because it was a widespread thing that was being attempted at this time. There were so many people trying to break in, because in 1939, the Brits were like, actually, we don't want any more British immigrants coming into this colony ever again. And so they were like, well, fuck these guys. Because there were large Jewish communities in this area already. So they're like,
God.
I want to go and be with my people after,
Yeah.
being treated like absolute ass in the Holocaust.
I mean, God, World War I happened. Like, World War I ends 1918, 1919.
Yeah.
Right? World War II starts within fucking 15 years, dude. Like,
It's like 20 years, yeah.
well, I mean, the events leading up to World War II.
Up to
Like,
World War II, 5 years.
Yeah, the fucking, like,
The Nazis are
everything
gaining
that's
power,
happened
yeah.
with the Nazis. This is, like, I'm sure a lot of these people are like, bro, this is just going to happen again within 10 years. Why the fuck would I stay here?
Yeah, I've seen what happened when I stayed here last time.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm sure a lot of them are just like, I'm getting the fuck out. If they did this to Jewish people this time, they're going to do it again.
And they're going to do it worse.
Yeah.
Because it gets worse every time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, like, the thing with a lot of Jewish culture is, the bond between Jewish people is very strong because it's a religious thing. It's where, depending on where you are, it's an ethnic thing. And they, after all this time, they really just kind of want their own place. Like, they want to be in communities with like-minded people. It's like, Catholics do that.
Well,
every religion really does that. But they're just very, because they've been pushed out of so many different places. Like, it's literally in their lore that they get kicked out of places for being Jewish. And we talked about it in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion episode as well, how much they're just kind of pushed out everywhere. So this was an attempt to kind of group up.
And I mean, it's not like things are necessarily getting better even.
Yeah.
Because the war ends, economy is shit. It
Stalin's
continues to be
in power.
shit. Stalin's in power for over half of the fucking country. And so it's like, yeah, you have this great fucking divide in Germany. Like, imagine even just in like 1950, like seeing the East and West Germany, and like imagine
the Cold War.
A friend telling you, "Oh yeah, there's not going to be a war soon," and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?"
Have you heard of the West Berlin airlift? Like, holy shit!
Yeah, you would want to get the fuck out, especially if you just spent 10 years in a fucking concentration camp. You'd be like, "I'm not going through this shit again."
They took a train to a town in France that I don't want to pronounce, and they are living on the city outskirts, basically homeless. While an earlier form of what would become Mossad, which is like the CIA for Israel, they start to work. They start actually as a paramilitary group in Mandatory Palestine, working to undermine the British rule to get more immigrants, more Jewish immigrants into the country. Or, it's not a country, colony.
What?
Because of them getting banned.
This fucking guy, dude.
So he's working with this group, and they are trying to get them a ship bound for Mandatory Palestine. So they're there for a couple of months. The ship shows up. They get on. They're on the seas, heading right towards Mandatory Palestine, and they get intercepted by a British vessel.
Uh-oh.
secretly, this is a blessing in disguise, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. They immediately get sent to an internment camp in Cyprus. Not great, but it is, post World War II, post Holocaust, like people knowing about it. So they are treated better, but it still doesn't look good that you're sending Jews to camps.
God, bro.
So not great. So he really gets the full experience.
Yeah.
He hasn't been circumcised yet though.
Yeah. He also hasn't gotten his fucking Hasidic name yet.
Not yet. But while in the camp, Schnaft then joins a cell of an organization called the Haganah.
And what's his new last name? Stein?
Weissman.
Weissman.
Gabriel Weissman.
Schnaft to Weissman.
So he joins this secret agent cell of Haganah and is involved in a couple escape attempts that fail. The Haganah is a paramilitary organization formed to protect Jewish people in Mandatory Palestine from the British, who were basically trying to deport them.
Yeah, it's...
Because they kind of escalated from, we don't want any more coming in, to, we're going to start deporting you out of this colony.
And he just goes, I was just trying to get some fucking food.
Well, yeah, seriously. So the Haganah...
I was just trying to make sure I had dinner when I got home from work.
These guys start, in Mandatory Palestine, they start blowing up ships that are supposed to be deportation ships. They start blowing up bridges out of the colony if they're being used as a way to deport people. Because this is a colony, so the politics and the laws and everything is very different from what we have today. So the Haganah get absorbed later into the IDF.
What?
The Israeli Defense
what
Forces.
What the fuck?
Much later. So he's working with the Haganah, which was like a pre-IDF defense organization for Jewish people living in a British colony.
Oh my
it gets
God.
so confusing.
You went from fucking SS.
I 100% understand why things in the Middle East are complex, because I don't know what the fuck was going on. And this is like so long ago.
Goodness, it's not even that. It's confusing,
and there are a lot of weird
connections. Time, the fact that like this guy went from like SS officer to like Jewish resistance is like, what the fuck is going on?
So
he's like the living, or he was the living definition of into fucking deep.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Because he's still anti-Semitic. He still hates Jews.
Kids, this is why you don't tell those white lies.
Yeah, you get in too deep, it gets away from you. Can you imagine if I didn't start recording again?
Oh, God.
Okay, so he's in a camp working for Jewish paramilitary groups.
Yeah, pre-IDF.
Pre-IDF. Pre-Israel. Israel isn't even formed yet. And they're fighting against the British. 1948 comes around. This has been within a span of about a year.
Yeah. God damn.
The Israeli Declaration of Independence is announced, and the Arab-Israeli War begins. The Israeli Declaration of Independence basically splits. I don't even fucking remember the areas around Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Into half Arab, half Jewish. They basically say, this half is ours.
This fucking ass, I swear, if this piece of shit knocks on somebody's door and goes, hey, we've been owed these homes for 500 years, and takes a home from somebody.
He gets pretty close. Honestly, he kind of gets pretty fucking close.
Oh my God, dude.
So most of the inmates are released. Not him. Because he's of military age. Any men of military age were not released from the internment camps.
Oh.
The rest were. And the Arab-Israeli war happens.
You said this is 48, right?
48.
Okay.
This war happens
so
for a
35,
year.
Yeah.
And 1949 happens, and he's released because the war is over there. And all this shit is happening, but I don't want to get into the formation of Israel with British politics.
What?
Because that's just not what this episode's about.
Yeah.
But he actually gets, from this camp, deported to Israel.
What the fuck?
And placed into a community. Now, this is the crazy thing. in this community after he's been deported, after all this, is when he learns Hebrew.
No.
He hasn't even known Hebrew this entire time. He's probably picked up a little bit. Also, he's in. He's in too deep now because that deportation provides him valid legal paperwork saying that he is Jewish and a citizen of the newly formed Israel. He's falling up in his life.
Dude.
So he learns Hebrew. Okay. He's now a legitimate Israeli citizen somehow.
He's
Waffen SS soldier.
A now practicing Jew.
Basically a practicing Jew.
I mean, I guarantee, like, he's going to a synagogue. Like, he's practicing.
You have to.
He has to be practicing.
Right? He has to be at least faking it.
I mean, he's been fucking faking it up to this point.
And he's probably never naked with people because they don't want to see his extra hoodie.
Yeah, right.
His hoodie.
He fucking cut it off.
Yeah, just on him, a little tuna can.
If anything, I will say, this man is resourceful as fuck.
I think he's just
fuck
doing
him,
it on accident.
But
I think he's networking.
Good God, yeah.
My entire theory on how he's been able to do this is he's just kind of charismatic.
Kind of just a yes man.
Yeah. And you'll see why.
He just goes,
we talk about it.
I'm Jewish now. And he's like, okay, I'm Jewish
because
now.
Unfortunately, this is not the end of his story.
Yeah.
He's in. He's legit. August 1949. So same year that he's now an official citizen, he gets drafted into the IDF. There's a couple wars going on during this next couple of years. There's some rumors that he killed like 11 Egyptians in war.
Oh, okay.
During a war. But there's nothing that we can truly verify. All we really know is that he gets drafted and his commanders love him because they basically don't even need to train him. It's like he was already a soldier.
Oh, weird. It's like he has this...
He's so knowledgeable.
He has this hate for people that hate Jews. And he just... If he could put anybody that hates Jews into a camp and just
of sorts.
gas them all up.
Yeah, he has all these ideas of internment. And he's very skilled. He knows how to shoot. He knows how to fight. He's very effective when he is deployed.
Hey, what's your history?
Combat.
I worked with the resistance Jewish crew.
No, I went to school and
I lied about being Jewish and worked in the German army.
No, so his commanders were like, "Wow, this guy's a natural." So he's
getting back his little like target thing, and it's like just
it's a swastika of bullet holes.
Weird shot array, but we'll take it. That recoil on that gun is a trip.
Weird.
He's like, yeah.
I've never shot a gun before. So he is done with his draft, his mandatory service, and his commanders invite him back to be a career officer. They're like, you can come back, you'll be an officer.
Okay, yeah, he's falling off.
You'll get a career.
He's just lucky.
You get good benefits, you get good pay, and you don't even have to see frontline pretty much anymore.
Hey, you know what they say? I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah. So he takes him up on the offer. He passes officer school. Who could have fucking guessed? And he's placed in the artillery corps, and he's very quickly promoted to the rank of captain. So shit's good.
When he was taking the officer test, really,
he's answering in German.
Every time he would read a question, instead of it being like, "How much do you hate?" and he relates it back to his SS days, and it's like, "How much do you hate?" and his brain is just like the Jewish, and instead it says Muslims, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I know exactly what these people are going for."
Yeah, he kind of gets. Yeah, secretly, he's kind of ahead of the game. He's actually he's like, what, 70 years ahead of his time?
It's literally just a copy and pasted fucking exam from before. He's like, wait a minute.
Oh, I've done this one. So high life, he's getting the high life. He's respected in his community. He's getting paid good. He just gets his promotion. So he goes out drinking with some of the bros.
Uh-oh.
Celebrate him being a captain.
Uh-oh.
And in 1952, his commanders decide to not extend his commission. It's kind of like, not renewing his contract
Oh, okay.
because of a little event that happened when he became captain. Turns out they had gotten reports in 1952 here that he had gotten really drunk with some of his bros, and he showed them a photo of him wearing an SS uniform.
Bro.
And he said, "Oh, isn't it so weird? I used to kill guys like you."
What a fucking... Leave it
Why would
to
he-
the pure-blooded German to get too drunk and fucking expose himself.
Why would he still have the photo?
What a fucking
Which means he's
idiot.
had the photo the entire time.
What
which
a
to me
fucking
means
idiot.
he's not reformed at all.
No.
That to me says, oh, he wasn't just pretending to hate the Jews to fit in, to get ahead. No, he's holding that ideology.
Yeah.
Still.
What a fucking cocksucker, bro.
Well, here's the real
Jesus.
Here's the real falling up moment, because they don't pursue him legally. They don't pursue him as a criminal.
They're just like, get the fuck out of here.
They just say, okay, you can't work here anymore.
They're like, well, I guess you can't be a captain.
Yeah. No, they say, well, you can't work here anymore. And he says, and they say, why are you showing off a photo of you in an SS uniform? And he says, oh, it's for Purim.
He's like, you guys haven't heard
It's
of
a-
Photoshop
No,
in 1952?
it's a costume. He literally says it's a costume. Purim is kind of like Halloween where you dress up.
Fucking
So he
Justin
says, "Oh no,
Trudeau
it's a
over here.
costume. It's just a costume. It's literally it's a Trudeau moment."
Yeah, he goes,
Certified.
What, you've never dressed up in swastika face before? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, swastika face. That's good.
What a dick.
Yeah, fantastic, and he gets away with it.
It's for one of those Halloween parties, right? You Jews practice Halloween, right?
No, he definitely chooses the closest holiday to Halloween to excuse this, and they say, "Well, we're not going to look into it, but you're fired." So
You guys ever been to a mosque parade or masquerade?
a masquerade,
Masquerade.
masquerade. Oh my God, I'm seeing a sticker right now. It's a ball with the masks.
Fuck that. What a bitch.
Yeah, he's
I can't
complete
believe
cunt.
he's like. Can you imagine an SS officer costume? Fucking 5
Yeah,
years.
5 years after the
war?
Holocaust? Are you shitting me? Like, the fact that they didn't just say, "Why are you lying to me?"
He gets fired and he goes, "Guess you can't make jokes anymore."
Yeah, fucking snowflakes, am I right?
God.
Jesus.
You asshole.
Jesus Christ. It's really funny. And also just fucking awful. So he no longer has his steady stream of income. And as we're learning with Gavril Schnaft, or what, is that he's not really good with money. He only does well when he has a steady supply and a good income. When things are tight, he does not know how to budget.
Bro, if he converts and it becomes Muslim, I swear
Oh my God.
fucking God.
That would be
I
crazy.
swear to God,
You're
dude.
kind of not far off.
Oh,
no. So
no.
he moves to a new city, and he starts taking odd jobs.
Okay.
And he's trying. His idea is, I'm going to save up some money.
Oh, weird. You read that part of your notes already.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
like 30
right?
minutes ago.
Pretty much, he starts taking odd jobs, and his idea is, well, I'm going to move somewhere else. I'm going to start saving up money and move somewhere else.
Oh, my God, dude. He's so desperately running away from his problems.
100%. Yeah, this flashback. This just happened. So
The orphan chameleon is what this should have been called.
No, I have actually another alternative name in literally my next set of notes. He starts an affair with his landlord's wife,
What?
who is 20 years older than him.
Oh, what the fuck?
And I was going to call this title The Nazi MILF Hunter, but I decided against it for SEO reasons.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he starts sleeping with his landlord's wife.
The Nazi
Which,
cougar.
again,
Nazi cougar hunter could have been a
He's
good one.
out of a job.
Good
He can
Lord,
be
dude.
evicted at any moment. And in fact, the landlord finds out, and he gets evicted. Interestingly enough, the landlord's wife moves in with him at their new apartment.
Damn.
So he gets this lady to leave her husband for him And they move into a shitty-ass apartment because, again, he doesn't have a job.
Hey, let me tell you, ain't nothing better than bringing in somebody who's a cheater that you cheated with.
Yeah.
Like, bro, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, surely she won't cheat on me.
Yeah, no, she would never do that to me. She loves me.
Yeah.
Just, like, such a fucking idiot.
Yeah, so now it's 1954. He's had a packed couple of years in Israel.
Two shitty people, fucking perfect for each other.
Yeah. They, at this point, they're actually hearing about an economic miracle. It was actually called that in West Germany. Because of America's direction and the like how much aid they got from America running them, they were really having this huge, the economy was coming back. It was stronger than it had been in basically 100 years.
He just goes, honey, you know where I would love to go? Never been to Germany.
No, he says, well, I'm from Germany. You're from Germany. She was a German Jew.
God,
she and her
dude.
husband actually left Germany around the same time he did. So he says, do you want to move back to Germany?
She goes, can I tell you a secret? I was in the SS.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm waiting for. And they decide, yeah, let's save up a little bit of money and move back to Germany. Now here's a
back to your roots,
back
baby.
to your roots for both of them. So there's brief aside. Shin Bet, which was the FBI of Israel, basically, had been secretly investigating since 1952, since that event.
Yeah, since they found out he was an SS officer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also happened to be caught stealing ammo from the military base and hoarding it in his apartment.
What?
He was raided by the police, and they took the ammo but didn't do anything about it. They said, don't take ammo.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And so
What the
that's just a
fuck?
brief aside.
Hey,
so
hey,
he was on their
Hey,
map.
don't do that.
Yeah, that's it. Literally. Hey, don't steal ammo from the military.
This is a room full of it.
Pretty much. He
We're
had a good
gonna
amount.
We're gonna need a truck. Hey,
He-
stop doing that.
Don't do that. He was basically going to be a school shooter, I think. But they actually got a copy of that photo too somehow. I don't know how.
Really?
But they say
Of his
they
SS
claim
photo?
they got the SS photo.
Oh my God.
But they were just kind of like, yeah, maybe he was dressed up and it was just in poor taste. I guess. I don't really know. That part's actually redacted in the file.
I hope it's like him pulling one of those like little poppers in his SS
In his- the
uniform.
SS uniform.
And they're like, man, I don't know if he was celebrating and he was an SS officer, but like this looks like he was at a party.
Well, the thing is, in the picture, his dick is out of his uniform, but that part of the picture is torn, so you can't see the tip.
They're like, damn, we just can't verify.
You can't verify it. So they go to, I think they tried to enter Germany through Italy,
Okay.
which, again, it's weird that he's back to Italy. And they go to gain entry to Germany, and he's denied entry because he only has an Israeli passport, and at the time, Israel was boycotting Germany, and literally on his passport, something that he could have looked at because, he brought it with him, it's literally stamped, not valid for entry to Germany.
He was like, hey, maybe I'll follow up. Maybe they'll let me in.
Well, I think his idea was that he would just tell them the story because
Yeah,
he's a German
that's true.
person. So his girlfriend gets in because she has a German passport.
Yeah.
He goes to the consulate, I guess,
Yeah.
and tells them the story, and they say, I don't believe you. You're just trying to
Fuck
get into
off.
Germany.
Yeah,
Go fuck
get the fuck
yourself.
outta here.
You don't have any proof. So he's stuck. He can't get into Germany, which is so funny that this German ex-SS
God.
soldier just cannot get into Germany.
So
Which again,
once
he was
again-
only going back to Germany to reap the economic benefits.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually give a fuck.
And so once again, he starts looking for work. He's down on his luck.
Hold on. There's one more side thing. His girlfriend flies back to Israel.
Oh.
Gets back with her husband. And then they both move back to Germany. They move to Berlin.
No way.
Which is so funny.
She just goes, hey,
All right, bye, broke boy.
I only marry guys that can actually
That can get into
that
Germany.
Can get into Germany, sorry.
So they live in Berlin. Schnaft is now broke. He's single. And he's denied entry to the country he was born in.
Oh, she played him like a fucking fiddle, dude.
And he does what he does best.
He's like, I thought you loved me.
Pretty much. He continues to be a scumbag piece of shit.
No.
He contacts the Egyptian consulate, which, again, he was in the Israeli army fighting against the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Now
the Egyptians hated the Jews.
Yeah. So now
Okay.
he goes to the Egyptian consulate
no.
and says, I was a high-ranking member of the Israeli army. I can give you secrets.
They cut me off because I used to be SS.
And they, I mean, pretty much.
And Egypt is like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Because they were super friendly to the SS, as we talked about earlier.
no.
That was foreshadowing. On accident, you helped me foreshadow this.
I got you.
And he tells them the whole story, his whole background, and they say, wow, that's amazing.
He's like,
we can
I
pay you
haven't-
so much money.
What year is this?
54.
He goes, I have been lying for 7 years. I have a story to tell you. I need to get this off my fucking chest.
And he basically says, you don't even have to pay me. You just have to get me into West Germany.
Oh, my God.
And they say,
dude.
okay.
What a-
That's a steal of a fucking deal.
Just please give me my German passport. That's all I want.
So he is flown to Rome, where he meets with some Egyptian agents who kind of start picking up the story, start verifying the story. He's deemed as legit, and he gets flown to Cairo,
Oh, no.
where they are super excited to get intel on the Israeli military, because it's still pretty new at this point. Extremely new. And they're kind of impressed with his ability to change identities, just as an untrained
Costume
civilian.
changing has been
the costume
impressive.
changing. Also, it turns out he kind of lied about how high ranked he was,
Oh,
and
I'm
they pretty
sure.
much knew everything that he had to tell them because he was just a captain. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like captains get state secrets.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we're not going to take you back to Germany.
But they were intrigued, and they were like, "Oh, maybe we can recruit this guy." So he was interviewed by intelligence officers in Cairo, and he gave them his Israeli passport, which they can now use in espionage.
And then they just give him a
him
fucking Egyptian one.
they do. They give him an Egyptian passport.
God damn it.
And then they approach him. They're like, well, you didn't really give us any intel. But what if you go back to Israel under an identity that we create for you, and you rejoin the military?
Oh, my God.
And he
bro.
says, for the first time in his life, he says no.
Oh, really?
He
Wow.
says, I don't want to do that. A deal's a deal. And they said, here's a couple $100, go fuck yourself. And they send him to Germany with a laissez passer,
Okay.
which is a legal, political kind of, it's almost like diplomatic shit, but basically it lets you bypass border control laws.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't have to file for immigration. He doesn't have to do any of this shit. Basically, he gets in the country and he's off the grid in terms of
Yeah.
border control. March 1954. He's back in Germany.
Uh-oh.
Better than he was when he left. Not really. Because
would
he's
imagine,
literally
yeah, now
in
he's
the
just-
exact same
yeah.
place. Like, yeah, the economy's a lot better, but it's not like he's has any money or is doing anything.
He's like, you guys, you got any more of that Jewish food?
yeah, 100%. And
Got any more of that welfare queen stuff?
so we're getting close to the end of this ridiculous story. You have to be. Waffen SS soldier who pretended to be Jewish to get benefits was accidentally deported to Israel as it is formed, is fighting for the Israeli army, gets kicked out because he drunkenly shows an image of him in an SS uniform saying that he used to kill people like you to his fellow soldiers. Then
It was a prank, bro. It was a
is
prank.
denied entry back to Germany, where he is from,
Yeah.
and then had to engage in espionage to
Sells-
get back in.
Sells IDF secrets to Egypt,
Yeah,
Israel's enemy, to get back to Germany.
West Germany specifically.
It's a nice big circle.
So he moves to Frankfurt, and he gets a job because his aunt is a pharmacist. So he gets work as a pharmacist in Frankfurt. So he's got a job. But not one, he doesn't like being idle, as we've learned.
Yeah.
He travels to Berlin, kind of out of nowhere, and he confronts his ex-girlfriend.
No.
He knocks on his ex-girlfriend's door, the landlord's wife, and says,
Is he trying to get her back?
"Come back to me, I love you." He's probably got like a boombox.
Yeah.
And he confesses his love, and he
No.
tells her his entire story, including the Egypt stuff. He said, "This time I'm going to be truthful to you to the very end. You, actual Holocaust survivor, you should get back to me, ex-Waffen SS soldier."
And she goes, sorry, I only date guys that can get back into Israel.
Yeah, pretty much. And she says no. And he says, "But no, you'll change your mind." And he gives her his address and says, if you change your mind, this is where I am.
Oh, bro.
She immediately goes to her husband.
He's thinking with his dick.
Thinking with his dick. Her husband, again, 2 actual German Jewish Holocaust survivors.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
He writes a letter to the Shin Bet.
To be fair, it's not even so much that this landlord dude is like, oh yeah, this guy.
He was like, the guy who cucked me.
Yeah, the guy
who cucked
that
Israel.
You cheated on me with. That also is now I'm finding out he was also an SS officer. Now I'm also finding out that he committed espionage. Oh, okay. And I have his address and his full fucking name now?
Yeah.
Great.
His real name?
Great.
He revealed his real name.
Of
he
course
was not
he did.
Gavril Weissman.
Of course he did.
He went back as Schnaft. And he writes a letter, and the Israeli Internal Security Service, this Shin Bet, receives it, and they decide that he's worth tracking down.
Yeah.
They acknowledge that it's unlikely he actually provided any secrets to Egypt.
Yeah.
But, again, this is a very young organization. Also, the people in this organization are the people who helped get him into Israel in the first place when
Yeah,
they
and
were
they're pissed.
this proto-Mossad group. So
They see the picture and they're like, I thought that was a fucking costume.
What the fuck? Yeah. Wasn't this for Halloween?
He said that was on Halloween.
And they decided to launch an operation basically to capture... Well, they were originally, let's deploy an assassination squad into Germany to kill this guy. And then they slept on it. And they thought, I think it'll be better if we can capture him, put him on trial, and show the rest of the world we can get to you even if you're anywhere.
Yeah, use him as a political statement.
Pretty much. So they deploy some agents, and there's a cat in my backyard, and they go immediately to Frankfurt because they have his address.
Yeah.
And they tail him.
And he's at home. He's not working anywhere.
It's just at the pharmacy, which is his house. And they trailed him. And they realize, oh, he's actually not working much with his aunt because he's fallen into poverty again. Homie sucks with money.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the second he doesn't have a job, he's just... What is he? In America right now?
Yeah.
The second you don't have a job, you're fucked? This was a different time. So, at this point...
This is a different time in an economy that was, just this fucking dump ass.
No, this economy was great.
Oh, that's
this
right.
Was the
that's
economic
right. This
miracle.
Is when it's booming.
This was
right.
the one of the best economies that Germany has ever had. And
I can see him as the type, though, when he applies for jobs. He shares his whole life. Like, he's like,
I was actually a Waffen SS soldier,
I'm a
and then I went to Israel.
I used to be in the SS, and... I
was
sold
in the Israeli military.
I sold IDF secrets to Egypt.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, this is like...
Do you want to sweep up hair or
this
not?
Is a waiter.
This is a White Castle.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. So
we're just trying to find out if you make currywurst and if you can run a fucking little corner shop. What the fuck is wrong with you?
So they formulate a plan. They take a couple of weeks to track down his movements, make sure he's not meeting with anybody else. And they deploy Mossad agents, which, again, this is like the CIA.
He's just crying at home.
Yeah. He's crying on the street, drunk.
Yeah.
So they put an agent by the name of Shmuel. It's Moriya. Moria?
Moriya.
Iya.
Yeah.
Moria?
Yeah.
This guy is...
Moria.
I'm now learning this guy is like a legendary secret agent.
Really?
Yeah, and his name's Shmuel, which is great.
Schmuel.
And he is the main agent in charge. He's going to go meet Schnaft. So he gets
Schmuel and Schnaft.
Shmuel and Schnaft. They are at a social event together. And a
Costume party?
Yeah, and a sexy lady honeypot Mossad agent introduces them to each other.
Well, they already know his type.
Exactly.
Because her husband reported him.
Yeah. They responded and said, "Hey, send pics of your hot wife."
Yeah.
Naked. And he said, "Fine."
People
People ask
know
for these
someone
pictures.
identical to her.
Yeah, people ask for these pictures every week. It's weird. They always say they're an agent though, so I guess I have to.
Jesus.
So they get to talking. Shmuel is undergoing. He's kind of posing as an Iraqi guy by the name of Adnan. It's something.
Okay.
It's something like
Okay.
Adnan bin Adnan or something like that.
Something just bad.
And they get to talking a little bit. He kind of reveals that they have the same SS ideology type thing.
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, in blackface. Pretty much. And
I am Adnan bin Adnan.
yeah.
Excuse me?
I hate the Jews.
I'm from
Oy vey, I hate the Jews or something like that. Oh, that's a terrible clip.
Oh,
Don't
no.
isolate that. But he basically does this whole thing. They bond, and Adnan says, "You wanna come to lunch with me tomorrow? I'll pay." And and Schnaft was like, "I'm starving. Yes,
I haven't eaten in
this is
months.
the only way for me to eat."
Ever since the JDC found out that I was an SS
Yeah.
officer, I can't
get food.
I can't get my welfare.
Yeah, 100%. And so they go to lunch together, and Adnan goes to pay, and he accidentally drops a card on the ground, and Schnaft picks it up for him. You know, being a polite guy.
And it's the picture.
It's a fake Iraqi officer's card. So they're setting up that Adnan works for is a
yeah.
high-ranking, like, Israeli officer
This is so complex.
who are also enemies to Israel at this
Yeah.
time. And probably still.
Oh,
Yeah,
so they're
definitely
trying
still.
to get him to sell. Okay.
So
I see where they're going.
he says, so Schnaft says, "Oh, you know, I was actually a captain in the IDF. Did you know that about me? I'm actually kind of an agent myself."
What a dipshit, dude.
And so they kind of bond over their military ranking. They're like, "Oh, well, we were both officers, you know." And Schnaft reveals his whole story to him at a cafe in Frankfurt.
Oh my god, dude.
So Adnan says, "Wow, that's so amazing. We're so similar. Why don't you come work for the Iraqis as a spy? You can be a spy for us in Israel since you're like the perfect Israeli spy."
Yeah,
Like,
you already know what the IDF was up to.
yeah, why don't you work for us? And he says, in fact, this is the funniest part, I think, of this whole thing. Schnaft says, "I hate the Jews." He goes on an entire tirade.
What?
An entire anti-Semitic tirade saying, you know, "I hate the Jews as any Nazi would. The Nazis were right." Shit like that.
Oh, bro.
But he was afraid to go back to Israel because he had heard that their new intelligence networks were really, really good, and that he was worried that they might catch up to him sometime.
Uh-oh.
Which is so funny. Dude, I bet Shmuel, his stomach dropped when he
Shmuel's
said
just
that.
like, oh, honey.
Yeah. Oof. It's because I think at this time Schnaft really thought of himself as this, like, cunning secret agent.
Yeah.
And he so obviously wasn't. So then Adnan says, "Well, we don't want you... You don't have to go into the military or anything. We just want to learn economic data. And that our intelligence agents who are already there will keep you safe."
Yeah. Oh, no.
And it's like, "Oh, I just have to, like, send you newspaper clippings of the economy?" Like, okay.
Jesus.
What a great deal. There's certainly nothing going on. So they set him up. They work with him over the next year or so. They give him a fake Israeli, like 2 levels of fake Israeli passport.
Oh, my God, dude.
They forged him an Israeli passport, which means they just printed him one because, you
Yeah.
know, they are Israelis. And he decides, all right, it's 1956. I'm going to fly with this passport back to Israel to begin my new job as a spy
Oh, boy.
He lands and is immediately arrested.
Wait!
Yeah. Huh? How'd you know? In fact,
fuck. The Israeli intelligence was as smart as I thought
Yeah.
they were.
he's arrested by Shmuel, which is even better.
But you were my friend.
What? I thought
This
you were
is-
an Iraqi.
this is
This
just
must be
like-
deep cover.
This is just like when my girlfriend left me at the German
Yeah,
border.
this is just like that. And they basically call him Ulrich Schnaft the second he lands, and he's like, "Oh fuck."
Oh, Jesus.
Because there's some. This is up for debate. There's some. He would still use the Gabriel Weissman name in Germany at certain points, and he's arrested. He's interrogated. He completely confesses because he's not a trained agent, and he is sentenced to 7 years.
Okay.
Because the real thing that that Mossad and the Shin Bet got out of this was, we've now proven that we can go to another country and convince an ex-war crime guy or their target to fly back of their own free will. So it was this big propaganda piece.
Look at us. Look at what.
It's like, we're legit.
Look
Look
at
at
the,
us.
The Israeli intelligence
We're
is
young,
doing.
but we know what we're doing.
Yeah, we may be the new IDF, but we got some fucking experience
And
in here.
That behavior, that whole basically that behavior that they've done, I've heard multiple times different stories where they've done crazy complex shit just to prove that they can. Also, I'm
Jesus.
pretty sure they assassinated they've assassinated multiple ex-Nazis, but it was specifically one who was in Egypt's care, like in a safe house, and they were able to
Damn.
assassinate the guy. But basically, he gets caught. He gets out after 5 years, good behavior, and he moves to Frankfurt, where he disappears from history.
Okay.
I'm 90% sure he just died in poverty.
Yeah. He just went homeless and fucking took on a new name.
Or he went back to his ex and her husband killed him. Or
We can only hope.
this is completely unfounded. There is no evidence of this. There is a decent chance that he went to the U.S., started a family under the name Gabriel Weissman, because he still had the documents.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And his family, and then he died, and his family probably thinks he was a Holocaust survivor still.
Man, what a bitch.
But who knows about that? That's a good theory, though.
that's a fake ending
That's a fake
in my
ending.
eyes.
That's the good ending.
Yeah. That's
No.
his good ending is being homeless,
And dying in poverty.
knocking on his fucking ex's door again,
Mhm.
and he just gets shotgunned in the street.
Yeah, just
The end.
the end. Bleeding out on the
Yeah.
street. So that is the... Sorry, I did not mean for that to go so long. That is the very complex story
Wow.
of Ulrich Schnaft.
The Schnaft saga, mind you.
Yeah.
God damn,
It
what
was
a
good.
piece of shit.
He was an asshole.
For real.
Just... I just love that... You could almost make the argument early in the story that, he was one of those people who were just there not for the ideology, but... Again, I mean, that's kind of going on the apologist route.
I mean, it's what we talked about when
The myth of the
he
Clean
initially,
Wehrmacht. But the fact that to a Mossad agent posing as an Iraqi officer was still anti-Semitic. He was
what a
still
piece of
perpetuating
shit,
that
dude.
shit after all of that.
If he had changed, it would be a totally different
Story. Because if he had changed,
If he had learned, anything.
that after how much help he got from Jewish people,
Wow.
how many times he was treated so great and supported by the Jewish community,
And then
he's still a
as
fucking
soon as you
anti-Semitic
find
piece of
out,
shit.
he's like, hey, look at this picture. I used to kill Jewish people like you. Ooh, you're like, oh, dude.
Yeah, he never gave a fuck.
You were living in the glory days, weren't you?
Yeah, the glory days.
Yeah,
Ugh.
God, his glory days.
His glory
yeah.
days.
Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck this
Ultimately.
guy. Like, what the shit?
If you were interested in an additional episode per month, check us out on Patreon. I won't get into all the details of it because it's late.
Yeah, sorry.
No. You're just fine. You're good. Patreon.com/points-o-pressure. Support us. Extra episode a month. Bunch of other stuff.
There's a free episode out.
Yeah,
You just have to make
free
a free
episode.
account. That's okay.
Yeah, just pop on there, check it out. It's a good one. You got those names?
I do. There's oh, I gotta scoot closer. We've got the board. I was gonna say something horribly anti-Semitic about them, but I decided not to.
Yeah, you already did it with your Oy vey comment earlier.
That was
so.
pretty close. That was pretty funny. The currently circumcised board.
Yes.
Mini D, Thomas, and Toddle Waddle. Thank you guys so much.
And if any of them are not circumcised,
Soon
which
to be.
I know 2 of them are. If any of them aren't, they're planning on it. And they've actually written a letter of promise to be circumcised.
And actually, they're going to be circumcised right here on this table.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
And because I'm Orthodox,
We have
I'm
the
going to be using
documents.
my teeth.
We have the signed forms.
So if you are not circumcised, go ahead and send us a message on Patreon, and we can get the ball rolling.
If you're uncircumcised, join our board on Patreon.
Yeah. Of course, we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, G-Dog, Hayden, Laravo, and Lindo. Thank you all so much for letting us ramble on for an hour and a half about this stuff.
Hell yeah, we appreciate you guys. You're the best. You make this happen. We're able to get these mics. We're able to continue doing this because of you. Thank you so, so, so much for your support. And then, as always, let me sit up for this bit.
Yeah.
As always, if you guys ever have any recommendations for music, TV shows, movies, magazines, books, what the fuck ever, memes, or if you just need someone to talk to, by all means, reach out to us on Instagram at points-o-pressure. Feel free to email us at ppdnaj@gmail.com. It's all just the letters. Or go to our website, pointsopressure.com. Go to the Contact Us page and send us a voicemail or an email, and we'll catch you guys next Monday.